For more empowering words from Elizabeth Monroy and Dr. Peter Monroy, check out their latest book, The Infinite Human, an ascension guide for starseeds, twin souls, and awakening infinite humans. The co-creators of the new Infinite 5D Earth. You'll also find many spiritual books to help both children and adults in their ascension back to home to infinite God Source. Isn't it time to be part of the new consciousness renaissance? If this resonates with you, subscribe to our website at infinitehuman.com and become part of our growing Infinite Human family.
Hello, my divine infinite human beings, your all that is, ever has been, and ever, ever, ever shall be. And here I am, Kiki and I, in Malta. Incredible island with such a rich, rich history. And I've kept this secret, my trip here, because I've had it interrupted, co-opted, diverted so many times. Mostly around Kiki, it's a service dog, but you know, a lot of problems. So I'm actually keeping it under wraps until I finish what I came here to do, which I should do tomorrow. And then I will be publishing this video and newsletters and all kinds of things, but it's not been easy. I've had to cancel my trip and rebook it several times, from getting over on the ferry with my car, with Kiki, from now trying to go to the place I'm trying to go to tomorrow. I had to pay a lot of money and go out of my way to be able to get inside. It's very difficult to get inside, but I will tell you more about that tomorrow. But anyway, beautiful, beautiful place. I'm staying at a beautiful resort, the Dragonera at Weston, and Dragonera, and beautiful, very nice people, incredible culture, and such a rich, rich history. And I'll talk more about the esoteric history that we don't know about and the Templars Knights in a later video. But also, I had my social media accounts all blocked since I arrived here too, so I'll probably just have to sneak all this in later. All right, so stay tuned because it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Ciao for now. This is me in Malta, driving on the left side. We're driving on the left side and I'm lost, so I'm gonna get off, but I'm just telling you, oh my God!
Ute shalom Bradin shadu isha donta niha ut unshala et stundrome atadundrome.
So I was talking about the Templar Knights, the false Luciferian Knights, who basically took over Malta. And I've seen, you know, so many graves of people, thousands and thousands of, they were Christic souls who were enslaved here, did hard labor, because I know, I'm this is not the history they're telling me, but I know that. And today I finally got into the Hippogeum, which is an ancient site, subterranean, underground. Oh, thank you. And there's a room in there. There's one called the Oracle Room, where it's the energies are such so pristine and powerful. The didactic formation that it's extremely healing, and your voice can resonate when you are in a certain position in the room. And there's also called the Holy of Holy Rooms, and it's shrouded in mystery and esoteric knowledge. There are also elongated alien craniums that were found that they are hiding. They do all this thing. They do so much promotion to say, this was a myth. They don't allow any photographs, which I got. And, you know, there's a lot more that hasn't been explored, which they're not exploring. So, but that is soon about to break open and change. I really feel like that. But there's so much disclosure that needs to happen there. But I did go in there and tone the Kristalla reset of the spiral, not the Fibonacci downward spiral, but the true Kristalla spiral back to infinite source, to restructure the frequency of the subterranean, these powerful, powerful, powerful places. So it was very, very difficult to get in. Oh my God, I went through so much. I had to leave Kiki. I had to pay outrageous amounts of money to be able to get in there because the tickets aren't sold. You have to book months in advance, and they don't tell you that. And I was almost like searched. I couldn't bring anything in, but I had my phone, and I wanted to bring a Lemurian crystal, which I had to leave in the locker, but it was still on site. So, but I did it, and I felt it just when I did the Ka Ra Ya Sa Ta La with my tones. I just felt it reverberating throughout the caverns because they're vast, much vaster than they lead us to believe. So there's a whole lot of interesting stuff going on. There are layers upon layers upon layers of history going back to, Earth, Gaia, Tara, and of course our Earth, but it's a PowerPoint. It's definitely a PowerPoint. A portal, a gateway, a stargate. So much is going on there, and I just felt called to do that, and I feel so accomplished today. I feel I'm celebrating. I bought myself an amethyst ring of the amethyst order, and I just feel like the goddesses, the divine feminine, has returned to Malta now. And I mean, I'm just a small part of it, but I was on site. There's been a lot of grid work that's been done to clear out, the old grids and corrupted templates, and I was just there to kind of seal it with the Crystalla frequencies. And I've been doing that all around the island. Tomorrow, Kiki and I are going to Gozo. We drive on the left side of the road. It's quite challenging, but it feels really good because the energy here is underneath it all, underneath the smart city of Valletta, underneath everything they're trying to do, underneath the tight control. The internet's under control. One of my phones has been like disconnected. I can't get into it. They said emergency whatever, and they just shut down. They gotta have the second one. And my Facebook account got locked because it's like, it's so controlled by the AI network. But they can't control the true frequencies of this place. The frequencies are really off the chart. It feels wonderful. When I went to Medea, I'll share some videos and pictures of that. But that was the true capital before the Templar Knights came and what they did. You're not going to see this in history because they're made out to be the glorious good guys, the poor underdogs that were always getting wounded. And I didn't even see their propaganda films. They have 3 here on the island. I didn't even see them, but how great they are. But what they did was they massacred us, the men, and they stole the women, and they took it over, and they transposed the true city to Valletta, which is the main town, which is grown up. But the core of the ancient town is beautiful too. So, and then they became, so Catholic, so all that just was kind of to take over and to totally stamp out any possible signs of the divine feminine and that goddess energy and the true magic grail lines. So, and then they continued that as the Templar Knights, they sucked and drew the energy from this place and inverted it for their own, devious motives. And then they went out and continued to find pockets of the Christic communities in, of course, Montségur in France, which I will be going to next. And then they went on to the Celtic communities, wiping them out in Cornwall, then Ireland, Scotland. I just saw Braveheart before I came here. I haven't finished it yet, but and and then of course Isle of Man, and the whole everyone who was the remnants of the fallen Atlantis, the Celtic tribes, and they just would hunt them down and slaughter the men, steal the women, and just in Gozo alone, there was, because I think Gozo was the last holdout here, and I'm going there tomorrow, and there were 6,000 slaves taken. I can bet you they were mostly women and children for sacrifices, and the women for breeding, and maybe some of the men for labor. But they were taken by the Turks, supposedly, Ottoman Empire, from Gosa, stolen from their land. It's a reoccurring thing, and it just continued throughout, until we end up with what we have, what we are, our bag of genes that are, mixed with the Anunnaki, conquerors, and then the Grail lines. But the goddess energy, the goddesses have returned to Malta. The goddesses have returned to Malta. That's the theme of my video and tonight. The goddesses have returned, and we are the goddesses, the divine feminine goddesses. So it's good news. It's time to celebrate. I walked into the lobby of this beautiful hotel that I'm staying in, the Westin Dragonera. And the guy was playing music in there, it was like, and there was such a festive atmosphere because it was just like celebration, because it's time to celebrate. The goddesses have returned. Ciao for now from Malta.
Surrounded by a wall like a fortress, and still has a little under 100 residents living inside.
Okay. Here we go into, the gates of the ancient city, ancient capital of Malta. Here we go. That's Bobby, our horse, and Steve, our guide. And Kiki's really enjoying this. Look at all these little tiny streets. It's so beautiful here. Yeah, Kiki's thirsty. Okay, so this is where the Knights Templar stole this.
Here on my right again, this one, the cathedral, the dedicated to St. Peter and St. Paul. 314 years old, this cathedral. The one before it was destroyed in an earthquake which happened in Sicily in 1693. Yeah?
Hello, my divine, infinite human being, and you're all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. And today finds Kiki and me in Gozo, in the citadel, an ancient citadel, where actually in the 1500s the Turks raided. And it's a sad story because the ruling president, king, whatever, the ruling noble, ended up killing his own family and then died himself trying to defend it, rather than have his family fall into the hands of the Turks. And as a result, they took about 5,000 prisoners to God knows what, probably to serve as, slave labor, and then the women were raped and servants to create Anunnaki hybrid Leviathan races. So it did hold many Christic beings for many long time, many centuries, long time. But speaking to the locals, and they speak English though, and also Maltese, which is a fascinating language made up of Arabic, French, Italian, English words. But anyway, here I am, and it's a very sacred ground. They've built, of course, a Catholic church on top of it, but it was definitely ancient temples. There's some ancient temples behind me that I couldn't get to today that are very ancient, even date older than the pyramids. Of course, we know that the date on the pyramids isn't the correct one, but they're very ancient temple sites here. And I believe this was the last holdout for many of the Christic beings after Atlantis, when the Malta and Sicily became the mountaintops of what was once Atlantis. So here I am with Kiki's in the shade over there, taking it easy. We've been walking a lot, but we've been running around doing our Crystalla spirals, and the energy is just really great here, very off the charts. Even though there is 5G, you don't really feel it because the energy is so powerful, and actually the internet's not coming through. I've been offline, so okay, ciao for now from Gozo. This is the inside of the Church of Miracles, and it is amazing. The architecture is so overwhelming with this dome cathedral where there's a lot of energy. There are no words to describe the God frequency that is in this place, this Church of Miracles. It is truly of the highest dimensions, and it's incredibly healing. I've been sitting here meditating for I have no idea how long, just feeling my body. All of my body's bathed by this incredible frequency. It's wonderful. Divine infinite human being, all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. I'm here in an amazing cathedral in Malta, St. John's Cathedral. It's so ornate and beautiful. Isn't it amazing? Kiki and I got in. Well, Kiki's glad to leave, but I'm kind of sad because it's really now the relaxing time to soak in all the perks of our hard work. And it was very, very challenging, especially driving on the left-hand side of the road and trying to navigate without a GPS in a place that doesn't have signs. That's what I had to do yesterday in Gozo, but I got everywhere with a lot of help, divine guidance, and the job is done. I can safely say Malta has reset to the infinite, and I do think I'll be coming back here with perhaps you on Infinite Human Tours to create very healing retreats. Just a marvelous place. And here's the Dragonara, truly a 5-star hotel, just beautiful, overlooking the ocean. All right, so it's goodbye to Malta. Bye, Malta. We sail this evening at 6:30 on the ferry with our car back to Sicily. Ciao for now.